Hey guys, back with another daily creation, and today I'm breaking down the beat for JayTrey's song, the outro actually, for Epitome of Chaos, called Bad Guy Riot. Alright guys, so Bad Guy Riot was, I think, one of the last songs we did for this album, Epitome of Chaos, which is JayTrey's new album. I remember, I think it was probably maybe like a couple days before Christmas of this past year is when this whole thing kind of came together. So the first beat that I did for it, which is the first half you hear, I think I did that like the week of Christmas. And I remember sending it to Jay in one of like the beat packs that I always send him probably every week or so. And he really enjoyed it. And I remember he was starting to write to the first half. And then I forget what the conversation we had was, but he was saying something about how he could honestly see this being like a two-part song, and we had already done a few two-part songs. I think in the last album, on his last solo album, it was Sapphire Pillage. I think Rain was technically a two-part song, and I think we had another song, I forget which one, that was a two-part song. So we've done two-part songs in the past. So I was like, yeah, that'd be a cool idea. Like we could see what we could do for this. And so I was kind of struggling to think of what to do for the second half, because I think I tried to just make a beat on this, like make a second half to the beat, kind of playing off of what it was, but I was like, nah, I kind of wanted to do like a totally different song as the second part, kind of have like a different transition and everything. So I actually went back to some files that my friend Zach Wilson, who is a keyboardist, had sent me a bunch of like different parts and everything for beats that I wanted him to play over. So this was probably 2 years ago now, probably like July of 2019. I sent him like 3 or 4 songs to play, the keys over and everything, and he sent them back. Well, the one beat, I wasn't even feeling that beat anymore, that he played a whole key part over. And I found it again around the time when I made this, so I'm like, you know what? Let me take his keys off this beat, scrap that whole beat, just take his keys, give me those soloed. And so I dumped them into this session, and I made like a little bit of a transition, added like some vinyl effects in there, and added to the second half. And that ended up becoming the second beat, and all I did was add some percussion elements and things like that. So I'll show you guys pretty much the breakdown, because this is a pretty complex beat. It's very well thought out and detailed, and me and Jay kind of just went back and forth on like the ideas for it until we got it down. So we'll start with the first beat, obviously, which is the first thing you hear, and it opens with these nice chords, which I love these chords. I'll show you what we got here. That's just a piano that I drug into Slice X and just chopped it up. I like to do that with a lot of different sounds that I use. Obviously, I think you probably heard me mention that in previous videos. Slice X is a great tool. It's in FL Studio. You can chop samples. That's what I've always used. I think a lot of people use Edison sometimes, or I forget, there's another one, like Grossbeat maybe, that you can chop things up. But Slice X has always been very easy for me to use, so I just use that. But yeah, like that beginning part, I'm just like, this is very somber. This feels like a story is being told already. And so then I added in these drums, nice drum break here. So like old school hip hop drums with this very melodic, somber piano part. So from there, I just kind of wanted to keep it going, because this gave me like not really a jazz feel per se in the first part, but just very playing off live instrumentation, you know what I mean? Like, not very modern, but more just classic hip hop, classic music, something that makes you feel something, you know what I mean? So next I added in this bass line here, which is really a standout part of the song to me. Which, if you solo it out, you can hear it better. You know what I mean? That's just a bass guitar, and I just took certain parts of it and put it in a pattern that made sense for the drums and everything. So to add on to that bass line, you got these, almost like these from a live drum sound. I don't know if it's the sticks or what it is. Let me see what it's called. It's just called a percussion element, but like I said, I just wanted to add on to that live feel of the sound, you know what I mean? So you got all that going so far, and then there's only two more elements in the first beat. One is these strings right here. By themselves, those are incredible, you know. And then you add in another reverse melody. You know what I mean? That just gives you chills right there. Like, that's, like I always say, in a lot of the beats I'm making, I add in things that you might not hear it on the surface level, but if it was missing, you would notice, and that's what that is right there. You would definitely notice. And when it transitions to the second beat, those two elements are very key, because it kind of like makes the music swell and build more. Right before the Tupac skit comes in, and right before the vinyl effects come in, I think it's just a beautiful transition. So this is what the whole first beat sounds like together. Get these soloed. That's the whole first beat right there, and that was all just me putting stuff together one random evening, I imagine. It definitely has like a winter type feel, so I see how this was probably made in December. You know, very reflective, something that would make a writer really tap into something emotional, which is to me the best type of music anyway. That's the, you know, my favorite type of music to make. And then from there, like I said, it transitions into the second beat. So I'll show you the little vinyl effects thing I used here real quick that you'll hear. You could probably hear it on the transition. I wanted it to be like, you know, like a record, like if it goes from one song to the next on like vinyl. And a lot of people use the vinyl effects. I don't know if I've ever used it, but I know a lot of people use this effect later. You know, you probably, it's just a crackle, like, but basic vinyl effect. Like I said, a lot of people use that. And that's the transition into the second part. And like I said, the second part is literally just my friend Zach. Amazing keyboardist, Zach Wilson. I believe his Instagram is Zach with Keys or Zach with the Keys or something. Zach W Keys. Yeah, something like that. But look him up. Amazing keyboardist, man. Very talented guy. Does a lot of instrumental music. Does a lot of live, like playing for people and bands and things like that. Like I said, I took this part from a beat that I really didn't enjoy anymore because it was kind of trash. And I was like, his parts are amazing, so I'm saving his parts. So I took this whole keyboard part and all I did was I went in and got some more live sounding percussion and just kind of had the drums build as the piano part keeps going. So I'll just show you kind of what it sounds like. I mean, it's pretty basic, but these keys are just beautiful. So I thought this would be a great ending for the album. And, what he was talking about on here, it was just great. Fast forward to the part with the drums here for you. As it goes on, there's more drum elements being added in the background, so it's just kind of like building toward the end. Now the coolest thing I added at the end was the saxophone part, and I don't even know how I came up with this idea. This was probably where I think the jazz elements kind of started creeping in. I don't know if I've mentioned before, probably on the podcast, I mentioned that I'm a big fan of like Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper, people like that, that make like jazz fused with hip hop, fused with like a few other genres. So I kind of like dipped into that bag a little bit. I was like, let me just get like a saxophone in here. And I did that on a song for Netherina Noble called Alone Together. I actually chopped up a saxophone. So this was another time when I did that. And I just added it to the very end, right when the whole keys part is starting to slow down a bit. So there you go. I mean, that's basically the whole two parts put together. Shout out to Zach for playing those keys. I know he didn't play them for this, but I'd like to think that they got used pretty well. I think this is much better than what they were originally going to be used for. And this song in general, it's probably one of my favorite songs that I've been a part of so far. It was kind of strange because Jay actually like took a long time to write this thing. There was a point probably in like February, I didn't even think this was going to come out because I kept being like, are we recording this soon? What are we doing? And he was like, nah, I haven't even got that far in writing yet. And I was like, oh man, like, because usually he'll write something quick and lay it down just to have it done, and he'll come back and change things. With this, it was probably 2 or 3 months, up until probably March or April. I didn't even think this song was going to come out, but I know why he took his time on it, because it's very in depth. Like, it goes into the issues of social justice, a lot of different things, even in the first half that I think he was dealing with personally. And it's really like a great ending to this album, because to me the whole Epitome of Chaos album in general is like, it's really showing where we are in society right now. Like, we're really in a place where everything's chaotic and there's so much shit going on. So like, this song exemplifies that whole like message, and it's the longest song. It's like a 6-minute song, but man, it just all came together so nicely. And these are the type of moments like I'm just happy to be a part of, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's Bad Guy Riot, the outro for Epitome of Chaos, produced by me, co-produced by Zach Wilson. Again, thank you, Zach. I'm looking forward to working with you again very soon. And yeah, that's a beat breakdown, daily creation. We'll see you guys next time.
Gotta put my life on the line. Can't let it go this time. Gotta put my life on the line. Can't let it go this time.